guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Shweta and I'm a research student currently studying and living in the Netherlands. So I just did my weekly grocery shopping and I realized that a lot of you guys have asked me questions about cost of living in the Netherlands. So I thought why not make a video about it. So in today's video, I'll talk about the cost and expenditures that you need to take into account if you're living here in the Netherlands. But before that, let me just quickly put away all of this stuff and then we'll get started with the video. So like I said, I got a lot of questions regarding cost of living in the Netherlands, and most of those questions were from students who will be coming here for their studies in the month of July or August. And I thought that this will be a perfect time to make a video about it. So when you decide to study abroad, living expense is always a major concern, and in today's video we'll take a look at the monthly or average expenditure that you need to take into account if you ever plan on studying or living in the Netherlands. But before that, I would like to congratulate and wish good luck to all the students who will start their studies in Netherlands. And if I am here by the time you come, then we should definitely catch up. So let me know in the comments below if and when you plan on coming to the Netherlands. I also know from your messages that many of you did not get into your dream universities or colleges and that your applications got rejected due to various reasons. And the primary reason being the whole pandemic situation, because there are travel restrictions, visa restrictions, and so on. But I would like to tell you guys that don't feel disappointed or disheartened. I know that it is difficult to keep going when you have a lot of rejections or when the whole situation is not working out, but you should not stop with the applications. And that is the reason I always suggest you guys that you start preparing at least 8 to 12 months before you actually plan on starting your studies abroad. A lot of you guys also ask me questions on which program or course you should choose or which country would be best to pursue a certain course, and that is the reason I have collaborated with Leverage Edu for this video. So if you struggle on finding the right program, then you should definitely check out Leverage Edu. Leverage Edu is India's most trusted edtech platform that helps and guides students who wish to study abroad. So it is kind of a one-stop platform for all the study abroad aspirants. So if you struggle on finding the right program, then you can connect with their mentors who will give you a personalized guidance and help you to get in top universities in UK, US and Canada in just 30 days. And what I personally like about Leverage Edu, that it is a very student-centric platform and they guide you throughout the process. So right from the SOP writings, LOR, visa applications and scholarships. So definitely check out Leverage Edu, and the best part is you can book a free consultation call with them and get all your doubts cleared about studying abroad. So I'll put all the details below in the description. You can call them, have a consultation call and then get started with your study abroad journey. So coming back to cost of living, when you talk about Netherlands, a lot of things come to your mind, right from the windmills, canals, rivers, lakes, bridges, the tulip gardens, and of course bikes. But what exactly is the cost of living in the Netherlands? So let's start by breaking down the expenditures into different categories and go through them one by one. So the first one, or major expense, rent. So rent occupies a major chunk of your total expenditure, and when we talk about the rent, I would first like to talk about the student accommodation and then we'll talk about the housing or apartments in general. So when we talk about the student accommodations, it can be either a shared apartment or it can be an independent studio apartment just like mine. So for shared apartments, you share the bathroom and kitchen facilities with other students, and such apartments or such rooms usually cost between 400 to 500 euros per month. And if you decide to live in a studio apartment where you don't have to share any facilities with other students, then the rent can be between 600 to 700 euros per month. So now keep in mind that these rents can vary depending on which city you live in. So if you live in the major cities like Amsterdam, Amstelveen, Rotterdam or Utrecht, then the rent there is higher compared to other cities in the Netherlands. So if you plan on living in an independent studio apartment like mine, then the rent is definitely higher and it is somewhere between 500 to 700 euros per month. But there are certain advantages of living in an independent studio apartment, like you get an allowance. So for example, if we look at my room rent, then it is 660 euros per month. and I get allowance every month. So effectively I pay 380 euros per month as my rent. And when I applied for housing in Groningen, I was aware that we get allowance, and that is the reason I decided to go ahead with an independent apartment. So yes, definitely there are certain advantages if you decide on taking an independent studio room, and you can apply for allowance. I cannot cover all the allowance details in this video, otherwise it will be a very big video, but I'll put the link below in the description and you can visit the website. There are certain rules and criteria that you need to meet. So if you go through the website, everything is clearly mentioned there, and then depending on that you can apply for allowance. So coming to housing or apartments in general, so if you plan on living with some friends or renting a house 1 BHK, 2 BHK or 3 BHK, depending on that the rents will vary, and it can be between 1000 to 1500 euros per month. So this can be affordable if you are living with at least 3 to 4 people, otherwise it can be very expensive. So make sure that you take into account all these factors, and that is why I would always recommend you that you first start living in the student housing. So if you are a student and you come to Netherlands for your studies, then university offers you accommodation for the first year, and I would highly recommend that you take this accommodation at least for the first 6 months, because it gives you time to figure out the whole housing situation, what is the rent, and then you can make a more informed decision, and you make friends by that time, so you all can then decide on moving together. So the next expenditure, or the next in the cost of living, is the utilities. So when I talk about utilities, it covers your gas, water and electricity bill, as well as your waste disposal charges. And these utilities cost can vary between 50 to 150 euros per month depending on where you live or how big your apartment is. Because the gas bill is not only for the gas which you use for cooking, but it is also for the heating which is required. So depending on how many heaters you have in your room, the gas bill will vary. And one of the reasons that I recommend living in a student accommodation is when I talk about the rent for student accommodation, which is 400 to 500 euros per month. It covers all your costs, right from the utilities to your rent. So it will be definitely beneficial and affordable for you in the start or in the beginning if you decide on living in the student apartments. So the next is health insurance. So health insurance is mandatory in the Netherlands. So the basic health insurance plan is from 100 to 120 euros per month. So I'm talking about the basic health insurance plan, and depending on if you would like to cover for additional insurances like your dental insurance, then the prices will vary. But in my opinion, a basic health insurance plan of 120 euros should be sufficient or reasonable for a student who will be studying here in the Netherlands. Next is your internet costs. So obviously you cannot go without Wi-Fi or internet these days, and internet costs are a major part of your total expenditures. So when we talk about internet, it can be the Wi-Fi for your room or your apartment, and also your mobile data charges. So the internet costs can be between 30 to 50 euros per month. And again, living in the student apartments is great because it also covers your internet or Wi-Fi costs. But in general, 30 to 50 euros per month plan is sufficient for a person, and there are various internet providers or mobile service providers like Mobile, or there is Lebara, KPN, and these have really affordable plans. So you can go on the website and check which plan would be suitable for you. The next is travel expenses. So travel expenses will vary depending on whether you use a public transportation or whether you have your own bike. So public transportation is really very good in the Netherlands, and it is really very well timed. So they run on a very strict time schedule. So you don't have to worry about being late for your classes, courses, or wherever you have to be. So depending on which pass you choose or how many times you travel in a month, the travel expenditure can be between 50 to 100 euros per month. But I would highly recommend that if you're here in the Netherlands, then you buy the OV chip card. So OV chip card is only for 7 euros, and it is real handy. So you can top up or load it with credit whenever you want to travel, and it makes traveling really easier and convenient. You can always of course travel without having the card or passes, and you can buy a ticket, but then buying a ticket can be expensive rather than having a monthly pass. But we all know that Netherlands is famous for its bike, and I would highly recommend that the first thing you should do when you come to the Netherlands is buy a bike. You can buy second-hand bikes. There are lots of Facebook groups, or you can go to different shops. They have a lot of second-hand bikes, and the cost for bikes can be between 50 to 150 euros. I got my bike for 75 euros, and it's working perfectly fine. So the next expense is food. So the food costs can vary depending on whether you choose to cook every day at home or whether you decide to eat outside. So if you plan on cooking every day, then the monthly cost for your food should be between 120 to 150 euros on an average. But if you decide to eat outside every day, then it can go up to 200 to 250 euros per month. So the last one is your other expenses, and other expenses include all the money which you spend on, let's say, entertainment for your Netflix or Amazon subscriptions, or let's say if you go for a movie once in a while with your friends, then these other expenses are really subjective and it can vary between 30 to 100 euros per month, because the, let's say, Netflix subscription is about 9 euros per month and the movie tickets are 10 to 20 euros per month, again depending on which city and where you watch the movies. So these are really very subjective and it will vary from person to person. So for me, I don't have a lot of other expenses because I'm a bit conjuice in that sense, but also due to pandemic, I did not get an opportunity to, go around and explore the cities or places here in the Netherlands. So other expenses also include costs like your haircut and if you go to salon once in a while. So I don't know how frequently boys have to go for a haircut, but the average price is somewhere between 15 to 20 euros for haircut. And for girls, it depends on how long your hair is. So if you have a short hair, long hair or medium hair, then the costs can vary. And I just went once for a haircut in the salon. The other time my friends did the haircut for me, but that time they charged me 30 euros for a haircut. And the good part is they have student discounts sometimes. So if you go for a haircut, ask them if they offer a student discount, and then it can come down to like 20 or 25 euros. So that's about the cost of living in the Netherlands. And now if we look at all the costs or expenditures right from your rent to your other expenses, then it amounts to somewhere between 800 to 900 euros per month. So we can say that the average cost of living in the Netherlands is 800 to 900 euros per month. So that's about it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that this video helps you and gives you an idea about cost of living in the Netherlands. So if you have friends or you know someone who is planning on coming to the Netherlands, then please share this video with them. I'm sure that this will help them to get an idea about cost of living in the Netherlands. I also have a playlist on my channel wherein I've put all the videos which cover most of the information about Netherlands. So if you plan on studying in the Netherlands, just go through the videos and I'm sure that it will at least give you a head start. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.